Hello, everyone. So, this is the second podcast of the year, and I bring an important conversation for you. This year, the beginning of the year, actually started in the end of last year in December. I started to enter into this identity shift myself. I started to realize that I'm not sure, although my business is going amazing, although my programs are changing women's lives, and every time I do different, I feel there is something emerging that I have never done before. There is a part of me that is emerging that I haven't yet showed up so bravely. In my life, in the behind the scenes, in the story of my family, I have been involved a lot in court and in situations around justice, money, family dynamics. And from that, I have been building my resilience. And if there is something that I really want to put in this world, and one of the reasons I want to have power in this world is because I want to put justice. I feel, at least in the country where I live, and in most countries, politics, interests, the law does not always benefit towards the highest truth, towards moral ethics. And in some countries, which is in the case of Portugal, there are a lot of laws that exist from 300 years old. It's insane, that are not anymore coherent with the evolution of humanity and the world we are living in. That creates situations in families, in marriages, in divorces, that are actually going against what is, in my opinion, correct. And so if there is something that I really want to put in this world before I leave this lifetime, is to put justice. I really have this vision of a world where men and women reach this level of consciousness and integrity. The purpose of working on personal development, the purpose of working on consciousness, spirituality, is to improve the human being that we are. And it takes a good heart. In my opinion, the people who do personal development are people with good hearts and with a certain level of intelligence. Because when you have a good heart and you understand that the highest service that you can do for the world, more than charity, more than donations, more than seeing the news, is working on yourself. Because the better you are, the better you become, the better impact you have, the more you inspire others around you. So you are already doing your part around your community. You are born in a country, in a city, universe. God puts you somewhere in the world where you are meant to inspire, where you are meant to create an impact. So if you become the best version of yourself, you are already doing your service. And I believe that abundance in this new age that we are stepping in the world that is evolving, is going to be dependent on those who understand this. So people who do personal development, I don't see that are people who have issues, because the more that I understand the human being, the more I understand that we all have issues, that we all have trauma, that we all have wounds. But personal development is for those who have the good intention to become a great human, to serve the world, and to improve intelligence. Because one of the things that I'm so proud of is how much aware I became of my different levels of intelligence. I have social intelligence, emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence. There's intelligence, psychic intelligence. There's so many, erotic intelligence. And the more you work on yourself, the more intelligent you become. Because until now, the world really tells you that people who are great on math are intelligent. But the world is actually very behind to understand that we have multiple levels of intelligence. And so the theme of this month, we are on the month of Capricorn, and actually it's not by chance I start to feel this identity shift just before we enter on just before the solstice. So in the weekend of 18 of December, I remember perfectly, I was starting to feel the identity shift, that something is gonna emerge in this year and I will not be the same person anymore. And it has to do with all these themes. It has to do with the fact that beyond teaching around intimacy, beyond teaching around sexuality, what I really want is to put integrity and justice and truth in the world. What I really want is to people to become so connected with themselves that the actions that they do are not just coherent with their desires, but also impact and inspire others. That the laws of this country may favor, benefit, truth, ethics, and not the society of hundreds of years ago, or it is not anymore the world we are living in. And so Capricorn asks one question. Is your life built on what is real or not? This is the question that we always should start the year. And it's not by chance that the year starts with Capricorn energy. Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn. Your karma, rules, structure. It must be the most structured sign of the zodiac, and makes sense that you start the year with structure, because without structure, you can't hold properly energy. Huge amounts of energy, the field of energy must be in a very strong container. And so it's an energy of a new vision. Let's build the structure of a new vision. I was actually in Christmas having dinner, and one person I was spending with friends, and one friend was saying, I was in this gym, he's Aries, and I was in this gym and I didn't like it, and they made me pay the whole year, but I didn't like it in the first month, so I just changed the credit card and that's it. And then came the sister that was like Capricorn, and Capricorns are, they are loyal to contracts, they are loyal to rules, they obey the law, and it's correct. She was saying, you cannot do that. If you sign a contract, you have to commit until the end. And it's such a beautiful paradox to see. Should we follow what we desire at the moment, or should we really keep our worth until the end, no matter what happens? Right? Capricorn really comes with this energy of commitment, with this energy of consistency, grounded, law to its word. It's a beautiful energy that we all should work on, and we all should implement this in the beginning of the year, because it's in the beginning of the year that we also set our goals. And so Saturn is also a planet who reveals what is real and what is false. Saturn is a planet of karma, is meant to teach you karmic lessons, is a planet that matures you. It was my Saturn dosha for the last 2 decades, that made me the person that I am. The reason why I'm such in a young age, but so much wisdom and so much maturity. I think that what I really also came to this world to inspire is this level of maturity from such a young age. And was the influence of Saturn, was the amount of karmic lessons, was the harsh times, was everything I had been taken multiple times until I became naked and confront my inner truth, my inner authenticity. It's a planet that also crafts the perfect lessons to die and to rebirth, that makes us collapse when softness is not making us come back to love. So Saturn is, there's who says that it's a higher frequency of Venus. I wouldn't say it's a higher frequency, but it's a different form of love. I would say it's this darkest expression, like Kali, like the goddess, the expression of love that is ruthless, that has no tolerance, that will strip away anything that is not true, even if it's painful. Sometimes it's necessary. So Capricorn is not here to inspire you, it's here to test us. It always shows us where we have been also compromising. It also gives this energy of commit to your mission, commit to what you say you are going to do. Tomorrow is our class, and we are talking around this theme, but much deeper. So sexual power, but how our world, how this energy impacts tremendously our sexual power. Sexuality, sexual energy is power. And there are many factors, for example, boundaries that we don't put, limits that we avoid to speak. There are certain behaviors that we still keep doing without noticing. Is this self-betrayal that sucks our vital force energy. And tomorrow we have such a deep initiation and conversation around this theme. It will be the first ever conversation inside our program, and it's going to be very, very deep. We have no idea how much living in a mask actually drains our sexual energy. And this could be things that, you know, when we call something that is, oh, we are being patient, we are waiting, but then deep inside is all about avoidance. We are avoiding. It's when we call something like spiritual or, oh, I'm just being compassionate. But in the end, if we look deeper, there is actually a lack of boundaries. When we are attached to something that we love, but we are just in fear of losing it, but we call it love. So Capricorn is this integrity season. It's not the type of integrity that looks good, but it's the type that tests us. And the reason why we are afraid to put those boundaries, to speak our truth, is because sometimes seeing what is real, being in integrity, requires removing people from our lives, losing the approval of others, losing belonging to something that in the end was not anymore aligned with us, but we are afraid to not be part of it anymore We are afraid to detach. And this is why people don't do personal development, because it's hard, it's painful to shift identity into what you truly are. It's always in the death and a rebirth. It's always something that's going to impact your life, your relationships, your marriages, the way others see you, your jobs, your careers. Being your real you when you have been living out of integrity, it is painful. You know what? I have multi-talents and it's hard to define who am I, because can be here doing a podcast, teaching about personal development, speaking about truth, sexuality, intimacy, true soul integrity, honesty, leadership. But then I can be, finishing this podcast and going to my atelier and designing my clothes. Then I come home and I start do all entrepreneurial tasks, the finance part. And then I can then go into the management of the portfolio of my family and start to understand, which is one task that I have now. For example, how to understand how to manage it. Something I have never thought I would be doing it, and now I'm doing it. So I have multi things on my plate. But if you ask me, now that I have a sense of being an entrepreneur, being a designer, being an artist, being the finance part, being CEO, being a podcaster, being a speaker, being a mentor, managing, the portfolio of my family now. You know what? What is truly hard is studying human being. I can learn new languages. I can learn about finance. I learn about art, design. But the human being is something really special. And this is why many people fear personal development. Because not just requires you to see your truth, but requires you to shift. Because once you see what you are really meant to be, the possibilities you have, who you can be, how your life can improve when you unlock your potential, the way you act, the way you behave, the person you become, is going to be completely different. And so Capricorn reminds you that for you to have this flow in life, for you to have this overflow, you need to create a structure. Plans, structures, goals, achievements are important. Because if you don't have a destination, if you don't have anywhere to go, if you don't have the glimpse, when I do the practices that really led me to these orgasmic states, and I have these visions about all that I want, all that I desire, all that I want to go, without this feeling in my body, without the glimpse of it, without the vision, I don't have the motivation to come here every day to speak for you. So sometimes motivation is also not just lack of energy, but lack of purpose and understanding who you are. Because when you understand who you are, when I understand I'm so meant to have this, and there is a feeling in my body that I feel I know is real, because when I think of it, I can feel the sensations in my body. When I do these practices, I can feel in my body that I'm really meant to that. Then you enter into a field and there is an energy that is born inside your body that makes you wake up and go for it. And that has completely changed my life. And so flow is also earned through structure, because this amount of energy needs a path. I have a path well defined where I want to go. I'm open to multiple possibilities. I'm open. I open my femininity and I use my feminine gifts, my intuition, my emotional intelligence to be open to multiple possibilities on how this is going to happen in my life. But I know where I'm going. And this is very important. The lack of vision, the lack of purpose, the lack of understanding what we are here to do drains us profoundly. And so prosperity is this capacity to grow in multiple ways at the same time. And it's only possible through coherence. Your magnetism, your radiance as a woman is only possible when you are in truth, when you are not wearing masks, because your magnetism is your sexual power, is your radiance, is your vitality. Is your capacity to enter in a room and being noticed without even trying. There's a full code I teach on that, especially on the art of feminine refinement and in magnetic codes. But in the end, all these programs, all these classes, all these practices help you to bring this magnetism, but not just the feminine that isn't grounded, but the feminine that has learned to mature, to be open, to dream, to inspire, but to have a ground, to know where she's going, knowing where she's headed. She's a girl and she's a woman. She's a boss, she's an entrepreneur, she's also a lover. She's all in one. And this month is exactly where you no longer can fake alignment. This is a theme of the month inside my whole program. I'm here teaching, revealing that, and my girls have no idea. Still, they think, and we are on sexual power module. But this is incredibly important. There are so many nuances. What I'm telling you here is just the surface. There are so many nuances that completely change how much power can you have in this lifetime. So this is a month. We are not here to dream. We are here to mature. We are here to become mature women. Mature women who know who they want, who move from their highest integrity, that take responsibility. Capricorn is about taking responsibility. Responsibility for your choices. Responsibility for the things you say you are going to do. Responsibility for your boundaries, making sure that this year is the year that you are no longer tolerating bullshit. You are no longer tolerating people who are misbehaving towards you. You see the truth and you no longer want to compromise on it. You want to have people next to you that love you, that respect you, that honor your boundaries, that not trying to misguide you and manipulate you around your boundaries. This year is the year that you are no longer tolerating people who are still behaving from their shadows. They already saw their shadows, but they keep behaving in their shadows, impacting you negatively, creating frustration in your life. You are responsible for putting yourself on those situations. You are responsible for any stagnancy in your life. And at the same time, you also have the power to come out when there is a way in, there is a way out, and this is in everything. You are responsible for your commitments. How important is to keep our word. This is one of the rule number 1 to also strengthen our healthy masculine. A man who is a man keeps his word. A woman, also with a healthy masculine, keeps her word, keeps her integrity. So integrity and commitment and responsibility and justice are the themes. And how maturing on all of them impacts profoundly your vitality, your longevity, your sexuality, your intimacy. This is a year to stop leaking your life force, to stop negotiating your truth, and stop giving yeses to what you know that is already dead inside. And when you become coherent is when life starts to respect you back. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became the kind of woman whose word means something. It is truth. And this is what I have for you today. And tomorrow for those who are into the program. We have a full month of stepping into a mature woman in leadership, in life, in relationships, in intimacy, in business, in purpose.